Hi you guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Carrie Penny. I'm the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and today is show and tell number 12. Yay! Yes, Melanie, I do drink them too. Not my go-to drink though. So today I have some finished objects, some whips, and a tip with a cautionary tale to share with you guys. I am feeling a little under the weather, so if I have to randomly pause to sneeze, cough, blow my nose, please bear with me. I started feeling a little off color last week, and now I don't know how to describe it, but it's kind of like the world's most annoying cold ever, where you just feel sick enough to not do anything, but not so sick you're not feeling like you feel guilty for not doing anything. This is the Step It Up shawl scarf from Carrie. It's a free pattern on Yarn Inspiration. It's very similar to the Hitchhiker. I did not know that at the time, that it was kind of a knockoff Hitchhiker. Everybody was talking about the elusive Hitchhiker shawl for like ever in 3 years, or Hitchhiker scarf. And I thought it was something like mad stupid hard with the way people were talking about doing it. And then after I did this, somebody told me it looked just like the Hitchhiker, and I was like, oh, okay. So I want to keep this fairly short. Hopefully my camera will stay more or less in focus. A couple of these kind of go together. First off, Curzon, stay out of the bucket. So I'm going to have to make cat beds out of this because Curzon and Pippin both keep trying to climb into my finished objects bucket, which is what I've been using it for the last couple weeks. I did the, it's called Breaking the Lines cowl. This was the pattern, the knit pattern that came with the bulky yarn from Knit Crate, and this is the yarn that I got. I actually really like it. Obviously I've got a scarf on now, so I'm not going to put it on, but, next time I do it for if I do it for, like, I'll probably give this to my sister-in-law. But for me, I'd take out this center section, because even if I block this and just gently pull the ribbing out, it's still going to be like massive. I don't have a very long neck. Even trying to get this on, like trying to make it look like I had a neck in here was hard. So, yeah. I would probably take out the middle section, 12 rows of stitching here, and go from there with it. But I actually kind of like the pattern. In the picture, and on Ravelry, you really can't see what the cowl looks like. I do like a good broken rib pattern. I do like the graduated broken rib on this one. Super simple, very beginner friendly, and gives you a nice texture. And I had a quarter of a ball left, so I made a cup koozie. I actually made it to fit a specific cup, but it's a little bit wider than this bottle. And this is, I used a 10mm crochet hook, and I chained 18 stitches, joined in the loop, and did a single, chain one, single, chain one, and then I came back and it was single in the hole, chain one, single in the, so that's what gave it that texture. So you can see like all the stitches are offset. Really like it. Once again, I did enjoy working with the yarn. I'm not a huge bulky person, but that was fairly easy to work with. I have not soaked any of the wool yet, so I don't know how much more it's going to soften. But for 100% wool, I really didn't think it was that itchy or scratchy or anything else. I actually liked it. I know that's so pretty. I meant to either grab a straw or a cup before I sat down. I am not going all the way back downstairs to find either one. Please bear with me in my bad manners. So in the same vein, the next thing I did was the Amazing Grace Snuddy. And it is a cowl with a hood. This is Red Heart, Hopscotch, and Watercolors or Water Slide. I can't remember which. If you ever wonder what's Carrie's color palette, this is 100% me. These are the colors I gravitate towards. These are the colors I wish I could find clothes in all the time. I mean, once again, you've got the purple and then the aqua-ish. I'm not going to put this on once again because I am wearing a scarf, but I extended the hood quite a bit down the side. I love the detail of the reverse single crochet. This is worked in 2 pieces. You do the cowl and then you end with the reverse single crochet row, come back and do another section of shells on the bottom. And then you do your hood piece, you work it flat, seam up the back, and then you attach it. I actually start from the center and work down, from the center and work down. I actually shared a picture on Instagram where you could see like the stitch markers where I was marking where to end for this, because I think I added 4 extra sets of stitches. So I did one of the extra sets I did attach to the cowl, and then I left the other 3 open. That way, I don't like things right up here against my face. So if I'd left that there, when I had the hood pulled up, everything would be here. And then when I pulled it down, it would push everything up. So I left the side open here. And when I'm wearing it, I can either tuck it down or it will move with my face. If it's in my way, I can roll it back. And also with the extra that I added, I will be able to take the hood back and let it fall to the back without any, because if I'd had this here, I mean, that would pull almost all the way to the center, and that's not really what I wanted either. But I do wear my hair up a lot, and I like my ears to be covered when I have a hood on, and this was just a little too shallow for me. Even with a little light blocking, this was too shallow. So I do still need to block out my shells, but overall, I enjoyed the pattern. Really like the yarn. This is one of the yarns. I'm working on a review of 2 of the colorful and expensive Red Heart lines, and then the 2 Italian Story plus the Marley Bird. Excuse me. Yarns. So I bought 3 balls of this because I didn't quite know what I was going to make. And it took 1 whole ball to do the hood, 1 whole ball to do this. This is all I had left from the first 2 balls. So I'm going to use the other one. I'm working on a hat. So we'll see how that goes. I am through the first 2 inches of ribbing on it and it's fine, but finished object. Alright, so my 2 dishcloths that I've gotten done so far this week. I mean, it's Tuesday and my last show and tell was like Friday. So this is a lot of finished objects for just a couple of days. This is the Mrs. Hunter's dishcloth from the 52 dishcloths or 52 weeks of dishcloths book. I believe this is free on the Knit Picks pattern or Knit Picks website. And then this one is called Phyllis and Marion. And you'll see a lot of people complain about grandma's favorite dishcloth. What this one asks you to do is worse. For me, I'm trying to follow the patterns as written for most of these. I'm going to come back and show you my ideal. That'll be the next one I do. But the edging on this and the first stitch, they have you do a knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together on your decreasing sides. And not only does it make this look wonky because that's a knit two together. You're not getting a very smooth edge there. Yeah, there's no option for a slip. It's all knitting around it. So that makes it rough anyway. But with the knit two together, it warps it so much. So like this side is like way bigger than this side. So that'll be definitely one I use to dust my house with. And that's on my finished objects. 10 minutes on finished objects. Yay. So I've been on a bit of a finishing spree because I've had a number of projects that are fairly close to being finished. And we're on a Zoom chat the other night. Melanie at Stitched My Lou has been hosting them for 2 weekends now. And I did a project bed count, and what I thought I had in my bedroom, my living room, and my study, and I thought I had 21 whips. I actually had closer to like 25, 26 whips. Yeah, so I've been working on doing a lot of the finishing of the random little bits that I had. But it got me thinking about some of my longer lived whips, and I wanted to share 3 of those with you because they're very similar kind of projects. So the first one, I think this is going to be an animal mat, either for mine or to donate. Sounded like something on my bookcase shifted. So let's rewind for a second. When I started 2018, one of the things I was writing about on my written blog was how I wanted to use up my scraps, because I had like 2.5, 3 30-gallon totes full of scrap yarn. And I got everything, everything now like would take up 1/3 of a 30-gallon tote. I mean, I'm doing like one of those, that's the size they are. They're like 3-gallon totes. I've got 2 of those with yarn in them, and then a basket with yarn in it. The basket has my neutrals, which I think I'm going to do the Jada and Stitches basket. I'm going to hold a strand of light brown, a strand of dark brown, and a strand of white, and do that tweeted blanket that she just released on her YouTube channel. And that'll take up a substantial quantity of that. And then the other 2, they're nowhere near full, but one has like warm tone, autumny kind of colors in it. One actually is something I use to make a fall pillow. And the other one has like more spring colors, spring summer colors, in it. And I just kind of separated those out that way, so I could at a glance see what I had or could easily grab out of that. But last year I did a rainbow blanket, granny square rainbow blanket, a big rainbow corner to corner. I took all my blues and grays and made a blanket of 12-inch granny squares, which I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 of those for my next one up there. I took some blue and white and made a crocheted ripple stitch blanket. So I really worked down my worsted weight acrylic heavily. I made a lot of hats to donate. But I had a handful of bulky remnants. So I started an ugly scrap corner to corner. Now I love scrap blankets, but for some reason this one is just turning out truly ugly. I think it doesn't help when I start adding in like, no, y'all have got to see, like if I hold this up, it's going to play the camera out. You will not even be able to tell what I'm holding in my hand. I mean, that is some bright orange yarn. So yeah, it really didn't help when I started adding that in. And I'm normally like, the more colors you add in, the better it's going to look. Yay. That looks pretty rough. I mean, even without that, it was looking pretty rough. So this will probably be a mat for the cats, or something that I donate to one of the local animal shelters, We have a couple of no-kill shelters here in town. So that's one of them. I've not put all my bulky yarn into it yet. I do have a couple from projects that I've worked since August that I haven't added into it. And I got a couple scraps from a different donation. So, hopefully in the next month, I'll have some time to just mindlessly work on that. Oh, sorry. I've got something in my eyeball. Oh. The next one I wanted to share. 200. 300 granny hexies. I estimated I'll need 400 for the blanket I want to make. And I've gotten asked a lot what granny hexies are. They're just literally granny hexies. They're using the granny square pattern to make hexagons. These are a 3-round hexie. Yeah. So the year we moved, that was 2006. Yeah, because we spent all of 2007 here. We're almost at 2 years. We closed on our house in April, but we knew we were moving as early as January. We had been renting, and we asked them whether or not they were going to renew our lease, and we never got a response. So by I mean, it took us like 6 months to find that house. We really didn't want to risk not having anywhere to go as early as April. So we went on the market to actually purchase. We realized a couple of years ago that we really wanted to just have a house here. So one of the first rooms before we even picked a house to get packed was my craft room. And what I did is we were moving actually over Lent. So instead of giving something up for Lent, I decided to do something for Lent. And I do that a lot of time because every time I give up something, it tends to impact my friends and family a lot more than it hurts me. So I, that year, did a shawl a week. And I went out and bought just enough for 4 shawls, I think, to start with. And then as I went, I did weekly. The Premier Sweet Rolls. Joann's kept having them on sale for $3.99, and there were a bunch of coupons. Plus, that was the last year they did their calendar, and I had the coupons from the calendar too. It was pretty awesome. The first round I went, the coupon was 25 off 50, I think. Yeah, it was a 50% off coupon. And so I bought $50 on sale of the Premier Sweet Rolls and then used my coupon. So I don't even know what it was. It ended up being $2 each because it was 50% off coupon. It was on sale for $3.99. Or was it on sale for $2.99? Anywho. So as I was finishing the shawls, obviously doing a quick corner to corner shawl with 3 balls of yarn doesn't take that long for me. So I started making these with the leftovers, and like, that's one. This is actually a shawl that went to my friend Peggy right before she had a kidney transplant. This is the same yarn as this. That was it's actually, this is a Carrie cake. This is one of them. That's one of them. Butterscotch. That's one. That's actually from the week after we moved, is when I was working on that shawl. We actually moved on the 12th, and that Sunday was Easter. So I did that last week. Like, that shawl took me a lot longer. But I did do a shawl a week up until Easter week. And then that one just took me 2 weeks to do. So I've got another, I think, 50 hexagons sitting in the guest room in the basket I've been using for the last 2 years for that project. It'll be 2 years next month. So yeah, I'm still making progress on that. A lot of my worsted weight acrylic scraps, as I have gone through the year, have gone exactly directly into that basket. This will go into it next. And like I've got a ball of the hopium yarn that I used to do the 80 shawl. Yeah, so that, I mean, and I generally, once I've got 2 or 3 balls in there, I'll sit down and whip out 10. I try to do them in groups. Each one of these is in, each pack is 100, but there are 10 groups of 10 tied together too. If you can see that that's 2 loops in there. But that's how I've kind of kept them separated and organized. So yeah, that's been a giant legacy project. And then, oh, I forgot about this. Well, I'll talk about that in just a second then. I have a non-yarny whip too. I've only gone for 20 minutes, you guys. I might actually make my goal of staying under an hour. I'm trying to do more videos, shorter time. So, many ages ago, I received a personal donation, and the Purcell Ministry received a donation. That mine was from a friend of mine's grandmother who could no longer knit and crochet, and didn't want reminders sitting around, or was just doing some spring cleaning and found a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm not sure of the case with the Purcell yarn that got donated, but both donations had a whole bunch of little partial balls and some whole balls and cones of furry yarns. And some of them are like these long eyelashy yarns, and some of them are literally faux fur. I also had a bunch of these in my stash from many, many moons ago. And I mean, I've got some pole balls too as this project gets bigger. I'll add in, but like there's some Lion Brand half ball. This is a Peyton's, and I don't know if you can see the little squares in there, but it's a railroad track with a furry carry along. Actually, I'm pretty sure I used this to like do a brim of a hat. But when I first started knitting, a little over 10 years ago, like that stuff was like mad popular. And I was so excited to be able to use it finally, because I could not crochet with that stuff to save my life. I've always thought it was so cool when I was just a crocheter, but now that I can at least knit it, like there's hope. So originally I had planned on this to be like a donation for Purcell, because in the same mindset of the more colors you put in it, the better it's going to look as a scrap project. I thought this was going to look weird, but okay. Now I don't think so. I may end up keeping this for myself and just using it as like a throw when I get a chair up here finally. I'm still, once again, 2019, trying to stash down still. But, it's so ugly. But I love it in its ugliness. Like, so you can tell the fabric is like super dense. You're not seeing the light or seeing me through it. I am working it with this cone of yarn. I have 2 of these, and then I have a pink one and a white one that also came from the Purcell Ministry, I think. Or maybe the pink one was mine. The cone was not very functional for the Purcell Ministry, so I just put the same weight of skeins into the Purcell Ministry bins. I just exchanged it out because it was going to be more convenient for people to use. I mean, it was enough for like 4 blankets. It was a huge amount of yarn on that cone. But this is one I've had probably about 9 years now. Says it's 50% 121, 50% nylon. Nomus yarns. It's actually a really soft, it feels like an acrylic nylon blend. It's got a nice, you can actually tell on camera, kind of a purple undertone to the gray. I It works very easily, and it's actually giving this blanket or shawl. It was originally going to be a shawl. It's giving it quite a bit of substance. I mean, you could actually use that as a blanket. I have no idea what size these needles are. They look like they're either 11 or 12s. I mean, these are the boy interchangeables that I've got. And apparently I stopped in the middle of a row here. What am I hung on now? This is why I prefer to weave in my ends as I go. There we go. Let's see if I can unknit these stitches real quick so I can show you. I just found that, well, I can talk to you while I do this. So anyway, this project bag has been hidden in our laundry room. For some reason, it got put up in there, and I'm not quite sure why. That's not where my projects are supposed to go. But for some reason, yeah, it got put up in my laundry room. When I was cleaning out in there, I was doing like a super deep clean of closets in the laundry room a couple weeks before Christmas, or a couple weeks before Thanksgiving, and found it sitting in there in a corner. And I was like, and like, that sounds like my laundry room is huge. My laundry room has a cabinet with a sink in it, a bookcase, and a washer and dryer in it. Like, that's all that fits in that room. It's not a huge room. But anyway, so that's where I am on it. It's been hiding. I started this before we moved in, so it's been hiding that long. Okay, so if I'm going to turn it into a blanket, that's how it's going to look. So oddly enough, like, I kind of like it. I don't think it's going to be what it was originally going to be. And I do have enough faux fur and random novelty yarns like that to continue the blanket. Sorry, Curzon. I'm not the one who told you to try to lay on my bag when you snuggled in. He's looking at me all offended now. Because how dare mommy disturb him? Yes. Yes, he wants to be a part of the moment. But yeah, so all three of those have been legacy projects. They've been long-term works in progress, either because they got hidden, or they were waiting for scraps to be created, or it was literally like, it needs scraps to be created for it to finish it. And it was the last of the bulk of my scrap yarn that I was working through in 2018. And those are not, I don't think those are my oldest whips. I think I have one that's older than the Hexie blanket, which is the oldest. Well, that's the oldest of all three, but that's because that got lost. The Hexie blanket was intentionally started knowing it was going to take a long time to work on it. But I'm pretty sure I have another whip that I'm not planning on frogging that may be older. I'm not sure. I also have a pair of socks that just need the toe done that are lost somewhere. I found the completed sock. I actually had started these for one of our priests when he was transferring churches. And it has now, like, I haven't even told him, like, why you never got his socks, because I told him I was going to make him socks. It's now a personal vendetta against the project, that because these were black socks on size 1 needles. And my size 1 needles are navy blue. So the fact that I had completed one and got all the way down to the toe, these were top down. Yeah, I'm still kind of mad I can't find those. Those predate any of these. And there is I think it's the Harriet Hap shawl that is in one of the Interweave Jane Austen magazines. That is somewhere floating around too. And that is with the socks. Wherever the socks are, that shawl is. And that one has lifelines in it. But we're about to circle back to lifelines. First, I want to show you my non-yarny whip. I am working on a diamond painting. I do not see this becoming a regular thing. There's only one other painting that I really, really like that it's like, I would have put that up in my house. But I thought I'd start with this one because the other one is like, I think to get it right, I'm going to need to do at least the 50 centimeter one. So I figured I'd start with this one. This one is a 30 by 40 centimeter. His face looks really, really funny because I've only got his cheeks and the little bit of rosy on his nose and his pupils done. But you can, I mean, you can see better from back here what it's going to look like. But, this one is the round little doohickeys. I find it therapeutic and relaxing. I do enjoy it, but as with embroidery, it just takes too long. It's very slow to get satisfaction. So I still haven't found the way that works best for me. I know some people like working in the image center out. I know some people for these larger ones like to tape off squares and do individual squares at a time. I do not have a effective way at storing the drills. That's what the little gems are called, drills. So for me, I've been opening a pack of drills, working until that packages it, because I'm doing huge color parts like this pink. Actually, I was able to do the entire border of that shade of pink. And this is one packet of white in this section here. This is most of a packet of this weird green color. Yeah, I know it's hard to see with the cover on it, but I've been kind of working it like that because it's easier for me. Plus, I can at least step back and be like, oh, I've got like, you know, at least I've reached into this section now. And I'm doing it kind of by like what makes the image start to pop. Because I'm going to have a lot of filling in with just white here and off-white. And that's going to be a bear. But yeah, I started this Saturday while I was waiting for the Zoom chat to start. And I worked on it a little bit on Sunday. I'll probably come up here and work on it a little bit tonight unless I start working on... I have one lace panel left on the Gore and Roll cowl. So that's like 28 rows or 32 rows left on that. And then closing up the end. It's really not a cowl. It's a infinity scarf. And the thing is already like 6 feet long. Anywho. Hold on one second. Okay, thank you. So, lifelines. I've seen 2 people in the last week post about having issues with messing up while knitting. And I know Summer over at Summer's Tips and Tricks is trying to use a needle and thread and go back through a lower row to save the shawl she was working on or the scarf she's working on. This is what I do. I take waxed, unflavored dental floss. And I, about every 10 rows or so, thread it along the length of my needle. Excuse me. And when I come back through to knit my stitches, sorry, that's what I get for drinking a Dr. Pepper while trying to film. So ladylike, I know. When I come back through to knit my stitches, when your stitches are on your needle, you've got, say, this is your needle here. You've got your yarn is wrapped in a teardrop shape around your needle. I make sure that my dental floss is way down here. So when I come through here to knit or purl this stitch, I can come up against the needle and not catch that dental floss down at the bottom. And I will do 3. And then when I get to the next one, I'll take out the first one and put it in. Then take the next one out and then the next one. I did not do that with my West Wind shawl. I got a little cocky and just wanted to get it started. And of course I made a mistake like way down on the end and it's like horrible. And the way the cabling is done on the edge, I can't just drop down and fix that. And all of my yarn overs are off. I have no idea, like it looks awful. So I'm gonna have to rip that whole thing back. And I was about 25% of the way done with it, which is a little annoying. I still have not ripped that out. But like I mentioned, I know the Harriet's Hap shawl does have lifelines in it. So I can rip back to one of the 3 lifelines to save that if I've messed it up. And I'm pretty sure since it's been lost for like 3 years, it's probably gotten a little messed up. I have learned the hard way that lifelines, in particularly when you're working with a lace pattern, lifelines are a lifesaver. And I tend to mark what rows, like it's every 5th row, every 10th row, something like that, where I put in my lifeline. So I know exactly where I'm ripping back to. I learned the hard way doing a shawl pattern called the Rose Trellis. It was one of my first big projects out of the gate knitting. I was a very adventurous knitter when I first started because I had crocheted for so long. Like I was used to doing adventurous projects. And thought, oh yeah, I could do this, no problem. At the time I didn't know about lifelines, but, let's just say I got more than 25% of the way done with that and had to rip it out. And it was a giant shawl. I was very upset. Hello, Tiger Muffin. Now both cats are up here. He's been with me all day. I don't know why he's acting so needy. I know, sweetheart. But yeah, I learned the hard way for that. And I would highly recommend if you're doing anything with lace or cables in it and you're not confident, you're not going to drop a stitch, or if you're planning on taking this as a traveling project, or you're going to have your toddler walk up and mess with it, if your kid's going to jump on the sofa, using lifelines as you go. It's one of those, it's a best practice. I know not everybody thinks to do it. I use the dental floss that our dentist gives us. I donate the mouthwash, the toothbrush, and the toothpaste, but it's no use telling them you don't need it because they still hand it to you when you check out. And they're like, no, just take it, just take it. So I end up using those as charity donations. There are a number of organizations locally who work with the homeless population here. And I've also, like when we had our flood a couple years ago, made sure to donate to the Red Cross. I thought this was starting to fall off of me. I'm not crazy. I just looked down and realized the whole thing's like falling off. I thought it looked weird. But yeah, so that's my quick little tip is if you are a knitter, and particularly a beginner's knitter or even an advanced knitter who's doing an advanced project, I highly recommend using lifelines. I know it feels cheesy. I know it feels like a safety net, but there is a certain point where you don't want to lose your project. Like something like this, I would just unknit back to my previous edge here. I wouldn't feel that, and I could drop back because this is a basic garter stitch. I can drop back to fix that in most cases. But I really wish with the West Wind I'd putting in lifelines. But it really wouldn't have helped me with this project either because I didn't realize I'd messed up until I got as far as I did and laid it out and saw it and was like, Curzon is literally like right there. And now Pippin is right here. So anyway, that is all I had for you guys today. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Excuse me. This will probably go out Monday morning, or not Monday morning, Wednesday morning, as I still need to put up my 200 subscriber giveaway video. So go check that out if you haven't already. I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you so much,